Welcome back to the news today. This is One on One. Member of Parliament Aliza Lavie from Yesh Atid, headed by Finance Minister Yair Lapid, is also an academic, author and a television personality. Her work focuses on gender issues and multiculturalism in Judaism and Israeli society. Thank you very much for being here, Mrs. Lavie.
Thank you, too.
Now, let's first address the main story of the day, the explosive comments that we heard from U.S. officials in the Atlantic and all the damage control that the White House began today. What do you make of this, and what does this say about U.S.-Israel relations right now?
Let's start with the news. After 7 hours, the gap between Israel and the States, now the White House says, oh, they saw what's happened today in Israel, and they say we have a strong relationship. Israel and America are very good friends. We'll see today that they are going to support Israel. What I'm saying that we have to choose the words that we are, talking to each other, and sometimes behind the screen, okay, but it has to be behind the screen and not in front of, our Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the first citizen in Israel, and let's choose the words that we are going to speak one on each other.
And this, of course, as we know, is not the first time that both sides have exchanged harsh words. But coming back to Israeli politics within Israeli society, as we know, Yair Lapid, the leader of the Yesh Atid party, he declined to grant 300 million shekels that were requested by Economy Minister Naftali Bennett and Prime Minister Netanyahu to build roads to go to remote settlements. So settlements has been a big issue right now in Israeli media. How does this affect their relations within the parliament, and how could this affect these early rumored elections that might be upon us?
No elections. I mean, everybody understands that the situation is no election in the coming future. We have a lot of work to do to continue all the missions that we came with, and everyone is starting, including Benjamin Netanyahu, our Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. And about what's happened today with Yair Lapid, Minister Yair Lapid, Treasury Minister, he has responsibility. The treasurer of the budget for 2015, the government agree, all the other ministers agree. So suddenly, to build in the settlements, where the money come from, where the budget come from. We have to take care about citizens in Kiryat Shmona, in Ashkelon, in other places in Israel. The budget is one budget for everybody in Israel. And also, to say today that we are going to build buildings in Jerusalem, of course, Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel, and of course we have to build in Jerusalem, but it's a question of time. Everything is a question of time. And when we see the situation like this, and like you mentioned before. So our responsibility, and my head of the party, Yair Lapid, the treasurer, he has a responsibility, and that's what happened this morning.
And staying within the issue of budget, as we know, there is a very high cost of living here in Israel, and your party really on the campaign ticket really said that they would help change this issue. And as we saw recently, there was a young activist who called on Israelis to even move to Berlin because the cost of living was so much lower there. Do you think your party has failed, perhaps, in tackling this issue?
Even the one that said, go to Berlin, he came back, and he's with us, and he said by himself that he is going to change from Israel. We have one country. There is no other country, and if someone else chooses to go to Berlin, the sky is open and everybody can decide. But we came to the politics, including Yair Lapid and all my colleagues, the other members of the Knesset, to change. Change takes time, and we have to understand it. We got a lot of heritage from the other people that were in the government, but change takes time. We need the buildings and the rent.
It's been 2 years, though.
And the food.
How many more years is this going to take?
It's not years, but it takes time, and we have to understand that we are going to cut and to think about bread and milk and other stuff that we have to control control the budgets and to understand the game. And there is rules that we have to put on the table and say the things that, yeah, and we need to change. And I see the change I'm sure that in the coming year you'll see the results.
And what do you feel is the root of the problem of the housing cost? What exactly needs to be changed within the system?
It's very, very complicated, but I mean, now we are going to give the opportunity to young couple to buy the flats without tax, less tax, people that served in the army, and it takes time to change the legislation because politics reason. But unfortunately, we had to start it 5 or 3 months ago before the break, before the summer break. But unfortunately, because of political issues and situation, we postpone it to this winter terms of the parliament, and I hope that in the coming weeks we are going to finish with it and start the process, and you'll see next time I'm going to be here. I hope not in the end of the year, but we'll see the change.
It is a big issue. We all really hope for this change.
It's a huge issue, and you know, my children, same. I mean, it's not something that we need it for other people. I mean, we are the citizens of Israel, and we want it for our children here.
And do you think your Yesh Atid party really has the power to make this change, and will the Netanyahu administration accept it? Will they accept this proposal and put it into action?
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu support, and I'm sure that next week or 2 weeks from now it's supposed to come to the parliament, and yes, we are going to make the process of the legislation, and we will start the project.
And obviously, we can't finish an interview without addressing the peace issue here in this region. Do you think Netanyahu really wants a peace agreement?
Everybody wants a peace agreement, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, but he sees all the picture and he understands the situation. And yeah, 2 states for 2 people, that's the declaration in Bar Ilan University. And I see that he believes in it, but what we need now is to come back to the table and to find the way to start talking again to each other. And maybe in one sentence, I would like to see more women from the Palestinian side and from the Israeli side, and I'm sure that more women in the process will bring at least a good start.
And it is a well-known thing that you are a feminist, and you had a very interesting induction into the parliament where you read a women's prayer. And as we know, there is a record number of women in the Israeli parliament at the moment. Do you think there's still more to be done?
Of course, I'm the chairperson of the Committee of Status of Women and Gender Equality, and I'm telling you that we have a lot of work to do here in Israel, and also in things that, you know, the gender gap or salaries gap, things that even the people that are watching now in this program can understand, because women are women all over the world, especially Western world, and we have a lot of in common to change and to move. But here in Israel, yeah, the diversity between us as women is very, very big, and yes, we have to take control to put more legislation and to understand that we need to have more equality here in Israel.
And for our last question, I would like to get a bit personal. There's not many people like you in the Knesset. You're a woman, you're observant and religious, and you represent
also a grandmother.
And a grandmother, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you also represent a party that is pretty center and tries to represent the secular middle class of Israel. So that's a really interesting mix. What do you hope to contribute to politics here?
Actually, I mean, this is the only party that can bring a peace between state and religion. And you see yesterday what's happened with the conversion legislation. Only thanks to Yesh Atid, we start the process in the parliament after a year with a lot of problems. And this is the way, and this is the place, and this is the party that we can work together with Lapid to bring a little bit peace between state and religion, and to find a way to continue life in a good scale.
I see. Well, Aliza Lavie, thank you very much for being here, member of the Knesset in the Yesh Atid party. Very interesting meeting you tonight and having this discussion with you. Thank you very much for coming to our studios. And that's all for tonight's show. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on I-24 News. Have a good night.